Boom shakalaka, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters around the world. It is your boy Chris Yule, aka the Esoteric Noetic, aka the Chocolate Nubian Soul Brother. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, click on the bell, tell your friends, tell your mom, drop us some comments. Don't tell the popo though. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I have one of these badges here. It says I'm exempt from wearing a mask, a muzzle. You can purchase this at BWS. In fact, you don't even have to purchase it. They just give it to you for free. But only wear this if you are legitimately exempt. I mean, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I don't want anyone not wearing a mask for illegitimate reasons. We all have to do as we're told. We're in this together, right? Yeah, mate. I think it's absolutely appalling what these anti-maskers are doing. They're like not wearing masks, and then like some of them like, mate, yeah, no, like they don't even have legitimate exemptions, mate. I think they're just beating around the bush. Don't be one of these conspiracy theorists. Ladies and gentlemen, all right, so I want to talk about being a closet anti-masker. That is right. I am looking at you. Yeah. I know there are a lot of closet anti-maskers out there, right? People that probably question the narrative or just don't like the idea of what their government's doing, but they don't want to come out because they know their friends are going to hate them. They know that there's going to be a lot of resistance. And they just don't have to deal with that bullshit. And, you know, us human beings, like, we want to fit in. Like, we want to get along. We want to be part of a tribe, right? No one wants to feel isolated. Actually, I don't mind standing out and feeling isolated. I kind of like that. I like standing out and being this weird person, you know? I like the fact that I'm this black guy and I'm so easily seen. People are like, oh, you're, what? You and your name's Krishna? This is weird. Like, you're African, but you have an Indian name. That makes. I like standing out. I like people looking at me and saying, "Oh, this guy's different." I don't have a problem expressing controversial views because I can own them, and I've spent a lot of time arriving at the conclusions that I have. And I think people need to have that kind of confidence just to stand in their truth. And I've been seeing some people do that lately. One of my friends, close friends, came out just last night and spoke about. She shared her first post about her feelings in regards to what's going on, and it was like World War III. Everyone came at her telling her that, you know, she's selfish. It's like she was saying, you know, I just want everyone to be free. And of course people like, put on a fucking mask, mate. Oh, you're selfish. We're all in this together. What, you in America now? What, you think you have rights? And yeah, this massive battle ensued. But you know what? We need to have these discussions. And there have been people like my mom, she actually messaged me telling me that I should take a step back from being so vocal about this kind of stuff because I'm going to become a target. And I know a lot of people feel like this. It's like, don't speak out, man. What happens if people don't like you? Well, you know, if you don't like me for the views that I truly have, yeah, it sucks, man. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I think as human beings, when we like people, we want them to like us. And it's not fun if they don't like us for whatever our views are and whatnot, but the worst situation is being around people that you don't actually share the same values as, and you're constantly in this state of mind where you are being inauthentic, disingenuous. You're one of these smiling depressants, and you have to constantly act like you're happy with all the things they're saying when you're not. It's much better being around people that you're on your same vibe, you know, and there is a lot of beauty in that, being able to speak your mind openly because you've cultivated a circle of people that are like-minded. And here's the thing, like my mom was telling me that, look, when you're vocal about this kind of stuff, you speak about your political views, you become a target, and it's gonna hurt you. But here's the thing, I thought about this, and I said to her that by not speaking up about this, I mean, her whole argument is it's not safe, you're going to get into trouble, that kind of stuff. I think it's far more risky not speaking up. You have a look at what's going on right now, and the fact that we're facing mandatory vaccines. These are human rights violations, by the way. Not just according to the Nuremberg Code. This is like, I know people have all these weird definitions of human rights, from a classical definition, like the idea of taking away voluntary consent, which is the hallmark of modern day ethics. Without a consent-based system of ethics, you can justify anything. If you don't understand that and you're working from this utilitarian worldview, then as far as I'm concerned, you should not be talking about human rights. You should be talking about strategy. You should go into politics, or you should go into warfare, dropping bombs on people, trying to figure out whether this strategy is the best for your country, all that kind of stuff, the stuff that our leaders do. But don't be speaking about human rights if you want to say that it's okay to forcibly vaccinate people. That's not cool. But anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, I realize people have different ideas as to what human rights are, but to me, the fact that we're seeing these legislations being put forth, that's really scary. And unless, of course, people speak out about this, then we're facing an even greater danger. Because by not speaking up, by not voicing your opinions, you're basically acquiescing to what the government is doing. And one of the ways in which you give your consent, and I know it kind of sounds counterintuitive, but it's true. It's by not saying anything. If you have a lover, you go on a date with a girl, and this sounds horrible. I'm gonna regret saying this, but you have some. Okay, let's flip it around. You have some girl cracking onto you. She's coming onto you really hard, and you're not really into it. But she starts kissing you, and then she starts taking clothes off. Before you know it, she's passionately embracing you, and you did nothing to stop it. And your argument is that you've been raped. That's ridiculous, right? And good luck flying that argument in a court of law. By acquiescing to it, by not saying anything, by being silent, you're acquiescing to it. And it's the same thing that's going on here. In fact, it's a legal precedent that silence is at times taken as an admission of acceptance. So by saying nothing, by acquiescing, that's a way of you giving your consent. And what typically happens in the democracy we're in is that you have these leaders that respond to what their constituents are doing and saying. So if you're not voicing your opinions, you're not sending these my will letters to these leaders and letting them know how you feel, or even just voicing your opinions in public. I mean, culture is what changes politics. And if we're in this culture where people just don't have the balls to speak up about what's going on, and there's this narrative that everyone is in favor of what's going on, then it just perpetuates what we're seeing, and it gives the government permission to continue going to the next level. Let's go to stage 84. And let's have even harsher human rights violations. And it's all because people are being silent. So you get what I'm saying? By being silent, you're acquiescing to all the stuff that is going on. So I think, yeah, it's dangerous. You know what? Just like it's dangerous to not wear a mask, apparently, it's also dangerous to wear a mask. In that by wearing a mask, it's adding to this social weirdness, and it's leading to the increase in suicide because people are losing this human connection, and by having these lockdowns, these measures, it's obviously increasing the suicide rate. And the flip side to that is that apparently people are going to be dying, unless of course we wear these masks. So the point I'm trying to make is there are always risks. There's risks to action, there's risks to inaction. But obviously I'm advocating for choice here, and my argument is that if you are not speaking up about what's going on right now, you're still making a choice. There's always a choice. There's a choice to do nothing. There's a choice to do something. But as beings with conscious free will, there's always a choice. And one of the greatest illusions is there is no choice and there's nothing you can do. Of course there's a choice. There was a choice a few hundred years ago with the Nazis. Yeah, I'm sure the good Nazis, they could have said something, but they chose not to. There was a choice, and there's a choice in the realm that are now if we're going to acquiesce to what's going on. So that's important, and there are things that you can do even by standing up to, for instance, things that police officers are doing. There's this idea that you should never challenge a police officer. it's so important to know your rights. Now, I'm not asking for anyone to be a douchebag, by all means. I mean, I'm certainly staying away from this stuff. I treat a police officer just like I would treat any other person. I want them to like me. I'll try to make them laugh. Hey, g'day, officer. Bro, you have amazing muscles, man. Your guns are huge. Can I touch you? Wow. I mean, no homo, bro, but you obviously work out. Flattery will get you everywhere. But look, on the flip side of that, know your rights. Don't allow people to abuse you. I mean, one of the things that I've been seeing that's really frustrating at the moment is police officers are abusing their powers. Now, here's the thing. According to a case back in 2011, it's DPP versus Hamilton. Now, I'm going to read this for you because this is a very important case that explains what's going on at the moment. I know a lot of people are trying to avoid getting arrested for not wearing masks, but a lot of these police officers are using the discretionary powers to arrest them. Now, here's the thing. Justice Stephen Kay, Melbourne Supreme Court ruling, November 2011. It is an ancient principle of the common law that a person not under arrest has no obligation to stop for police or answer their questions, and there is no statute that removes that right. The conferring of such a power on a police officer would be a substantial distraction from the fundamental freedoms which have been guaranteed to the citizen by the common law for centuries. So essentially, you don't have to answer the questions of police officers. They can't just approach you and say you're under arrest. And the thing is, they know this, but in order to circumvent this, and the reason they're trying to circumvent this is because it's impossible, practically speaking, it's not impossible, nothing's possible, to have mandatory mask mandates, right, and have exemptions, right? You're going to have a situation where there's some people that have legitimate exemptions, but as a police officer, in order to find out if they have legitimate exemptions, you're going to have to approach them. You're going to have to make contact with them and talk to them. Thing is, if they don't want to interact with you, you can't arrest them. And, police officers will tell you, no, that's not true, according to the Crimes Act, no, there's a legislation, but this is the Supreme Court ruling, okay? I mean, this is the highest court. The Constitution of Australia, the Commonwealth Constitution, is the highest law in the land. And when you get this Supreme Court ruling, that takes precedent over the rulings you have in these lower courts. And look, here's the thing, there's more to this, but a common law arrest requires a belief in an offense has been committed. So fair enough, the police officer has to believe you committed offense, but there's more to it. You need to be informing the person they are under arrest, that's 2, and why they are under arrest. And you also need to have physical contact, and the person needs to have an understanding why they are under arrest. So they need to fulfill all of these things. They need to have made contact with you. They need to explain to you why you're under arrest. And practically speaking, police officers can't do this shit if you're running away from them and they just see you without a mask, and they can't just assume that you don't have a legitimate excuse. So what do? They circumvent this by saying, oh, we have discretionary powers now, and if we think that you're under arrest, we can arrest you and we have to question you. And this is what they're doing. So realistically, you're going to get arrested. But you know what? If enough people understood their rights, and if enough people decided to go to the high courts and get this ruling, they'd get the message. Because what you can do is you can sue these guys because police officers aren't allowed to arrest you without a reason. And if they don't have a legitimate reason, and you want to sue them for your time, now they think twice about doing this shit. Yeah? So all it takes is being aware of your rights, and enough people do this. Now, look, granted, I haven't done this. Look, I'm still new to a lot of this stuff, and I don't want to be having any encounters with police officers unless I have to. It's like, why fight a battle when you don't need to? Just be aware of your rights, so if it does come down to that, you can have a conversation with them, let them know what they're getting themselves into. But still be pleasant. There's no need to have a combative conversation with police officers. I mean, these people are human beings. Now, granted, they decided to join an establishment that is doing fucked up things, and I question their choices, but yeah, they're human beings, and they make mistakes, and they can be educated. Perhaps you might teach them something. They might reconsider why they joined the police force. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, bottom line, I'm going to reiterate this. Don't be a closet anti-masker. Like, there comes this strength from being able to walk in your truth and who you are. Stand in what you believe. It emboldens you, and it emboldens others. You give other people permission to do that. Like the amount of... My friend that shared her views she started receiving messages from people saying, they really supported what she was doing. This stuff happens to me too. I mean, I love hearing these comments from people, man, love what you're doing, because most people don't want to do this stuff because they're afraid that no one's going to agree with them. But the reality is there's so many people out there that have the same viewpoints that you have, and they're just waiting for someone like you to express the truth. And by you doing this, by expressing the truth, how you feel, it's giving them permission to express the truth as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, educate yourself and have the courage to stand in your truth. Peace out, keep it real. Don't drive it in text. Don't be a closet anti-masker. Until next time, this is your boy Chris Schul. Ow!
What is liberty?
What the? Who says you can't build muscle on a vegan diet?
What's it like being a hottie in the vegan community?
There are no political solutions, only technological ones.
The economics of the system don't allow multiple competing systems to survive.
Engineering, technology, these arts of humanity, they are magic.